Guys, it's Game Camp and you're tuning into Vanity versus Okay guys, as all of you have heard and seen by now that what happened at the Oscars in Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. So I didn't want to make a video about that at first, but because I've read so many people's opinions, so many comments about the whole incident, and I thought it best also to share my opinion regarding that whole incident, especially because I've heard some disturbing comments about that incident. Some people felt that it was right, it was warranted. Some people felt because he actually Chris Rock's joke went too far.
I get it. Not saying I condone it, but Will Smith did, but I get it.
Some people said that it was a bad taste, the joke, but I couldn't see any malice actually behind it, any pun behind it, as you can hear.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
So I don't know why this was such a big deal. The problem with it also is that Will Smith actually laughed with the joke, and then Will Smith slapped him after he saw that his wife, wasn't happy about the joke.
Uh-oh, Jada does not like the joke.
If you found the joke funny, and you understand as a comedian, it is a comedian's job to make fun, my question number one, does that warrant a slap? They had last year a comedian, Ricky something from the UK, but he called the people actually pedophiles.
He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies.
So, I don't understand. That would be more serious, in my opinion. So, it seems to me that many of the comments actually doesn't distinguish between whose right to be offended actually gets understanding. So, why is he supposed to be protected? Because of her personal issue. So, there's a lot of double standards when people comment. But with that being said, I understand some people's concern with that, and that is fine. The question is, does it warrant, the physical attack that Chris Rock has endured? I don't think so. I really don't think so. If you are being paid to make jokes,
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
I mean, come on, man. There's better ways to offend the person than that, to be honest.
I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
Actually, I want to call this great conflict, because at the one end, he's got this very important award as Best Actor. And then you see the reality, the conflicting part of it. Is this the way he wants to protect his family? Or is this just a poor and desperate attempt, what he actually cannot anymore protect? Because first of all, you protect your family by keeping certain stuff private. And he cannot even keep his sex life, their sex life, he means wife's sex life, private. And I was wondering, what are you talking about protecting your family? Your wife has multiple partners in your marriage. I don't even think you can call a marriage when there's so many parties involved, as they call it, entanglements. I think it blows out a marriage out of the door. Whatever that is, it cannot be a marriage. A marriage is a union between a man and a woman for life. And I think the basis of a marriage is to be faithful to each other. And that makes a marriage unique, regardless of everybody's opinion and how they feel about it. I mean, then you don't call anything a marriage. Nothing is sanctified. Nothing is unique and holy and stands set apart from other stuff. That's why marriage is so important, because it's a union between a man and a wife. But if you have multiple entanglements, I don't call it a union, man. Please tell me, Will Smith, please tell me how you are protecting them from that. And then, at the end of the day, you come and assault a person, just making an innocent joke on a public stage, humiliating him in front of everybody, and then playing, like I see a lot of people do these days. They play the victim, the abuser is playing the victim at the end of the day. And maybe we didn't learn about R. Kelly, when you have such an influence, and people admire you and what you have achieved, which is good, which is nice, then it's difficult for people, not to take your side. not to rectify wrong behavior when you are doing it. And we have seen it with R. Kelly. At the end of the day, your stardom and your fame gets to a point where you think, and some people think, I think they can do whatever they want because their followers and the people that admire them overlooks any problematic issue. So I would point that out. The other thing I would point out, he said that Denzel Washington gave him advice and told him that when you're on your top, you know, the devil comes in and he tries to mess it up. Paraphrasing again. Thank you, Denzel Washington, for at least you and Tyler Perry at least addressing him. In the middle of the Oscars should actually not even allowed him to be there in the room. Why didn't they go to Chris Rock and ask him, you're right? Why didn't they go to Chris Rock and say, listen, what you have done now, and that embarrassing thing and degrading thing and humiliating thing. Thank you for being still professional.
Eric Benet. He said, everybody hugging and consoling Will. Can somebody go check on Chris?
That's real.
Can we get a seat filler or somebody? Is he all right?
That's real.
They actually sympathize with the abuser, which maybe I understand they thought probably they're doing the right thing. And that's fine. And then he said, listen here, the devil comes in and does that thing. It might be the devil, who knows, but learning from Will's history and all of that stuff and what is transpired on these Red Table Talks, I pretty much think that we can cancel out the devil, Denzel Washington, and let's just say it's Will. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is we can easily attribute our own mistakes and our own failures and our own bad behaviors to somebody else, and in that case, most likely or possibly the devil, and then feel very absolved from any responsibility. That's why he actually didn't have a real excuse. He didn't have an excuse, to be honest. No, Will Smith, it's your fault. And the real reality is a broken person, a failing person maybe in real life, a person that needs to sort out his family life, his family affairs, a person that needs to work on himself, a person that needs to deal with whatever is going on in the way he's handling stuff. This is what I'm seeing. I mean, should every comedian now be afraid of being physically assaulted if any person is easily offended or they don't like the joke anymore? I mean, this is the comedian world. You cannot take everything literally or act out if anybody actually says something that you don't like or don't agree with. But it's clear that he doesn't get the message. He doesn't feel that he did anything wrong. I wish you can just see this. See the arrogance and the macho-ness that he's walking over the stage after assaulting a person on an international platform.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked.
I've seen news from India and all over the world commenting on this, guys. And he feels so proud of himself. The victim in the whole thing, I think we can have a little bit of sympathy towards it, because I'm telling you, it is difficult being humiliated on such a platform and keep your cool. Because Rob handled himself very, very well. So let us put it in a biblical context. So in Psalm 11 verse 5, in the ESV, it says that the Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence. And the reason I'm pointing this out is as if I don't understand how can so many people celebrate that way that Will Smith has actually deliberately went and performed an act of violence.
With 52.3% of the people saying Rock deserved what he got after he joked about Smith's wife's shaved head.
In a sense, you know, it's actually that as a culture, and I pray that this is not the case, that we are becoming a culture that loves violence, that loves other person being assaulted and celebrate their type of actions. It says, do not envy a man of violence and do not choose any of his ways. Why would you envy a man of violence? And even the Bible warns about it. I don't know if everybody can still remember this golden rule, this beautiful Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus spoke these words in Matthew 5:38-39. He said that you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. I just want us to let that sink in. And Jesus says this actually in context between personal conflict and issues that people had towards each other, and how some people in his time use the law of God as a means to solve their personal issues with each other. And Jesus says, let it be not so with you, but I say to you, resist. Do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And it's one beautiful thing that we can say about this whole thing that nobody's actually really getting into is the conduct of Chris Rock. He could have fought him, could have smacked him back, he could have gotten into a very ugly argument, he could have disrupted the whole ceremony, but no, he didn't resist it, and he actually kept his cool and move on. Now, that's easy said, but I can guarantee you it's a very difficult thing to do. And I think, and I want to point out, I'd rather go with the wisdom of Jesus than the tasteless conduct of Will Smith. So people, please, let us look at what we can learn from that, but also look at what we can do in certain types of situations. But let us just learn from this situation and the example of Chris Rock, and let's just see at the end of the day that it's better not to be the evil one in any circumstance, but be the one actually that pleases the Lord rather than men. Now the earth was corrupt, Genesis 6:11, in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this thing is like, I'm concerned that this type of act can go either two ways if it's not handled properly and directly. If they give Will Smith a pass on this, and if people who actually celebrates that act of violence and assault, and I think it matters how we react to this and how we accept what has happened at the Oscars. So please, people, let's be vigilant to not easily accept the wrong as right. Let's be vigilant and careful not to criticize a person's lack of judgment and actually celebrate a person's total irresponsible act of violence and think that's okay. It's not okay. I don't think it's okay. So let's choose a reality that's not filled with hate. Let's choose a reality that's not filled with an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But let's fill the earth with a reality that's filled with love, compassion, forgiveness, and trust again, I think. But let us build that bridges of humanity again and really respond in far better ways than this evil that has transpired at the awards ceremony. So yes, guys, thank you for listening, for tuning in, and this is Gabriel Kamfer. Please subscribe and like. Vanity versus reality.